This video was generated by AI 8 seconds at a time with a human screenwriter. It is not a product and will not be monetized.
Consorted is a hybrid of fiction and truth, an exploration of a mind trying to reconcile the tensions between product and design, logic and emotion, and business and purpose.
It's the story of how the oldest human invention, imagination, keeps pulling us forward.
Even when the world asks us to stay defined, boxed, and siloed. Man, that looks fun.
Progress begins when we dare to build together, unfinished and unsure, and we let that shared humanity catalyze the courage to imagine a more meaningful future.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
When was the last time you were seen at work? If AI is the future, but humans still don't feel seen, all we've done is automate the part that was already broken.
Live from Consorted 2026, we are about to get started. So let's start simple. What is sorted to you?
Sorted was like watching a company accidentally prove a scientific theory. It worked, but no one really knew why.
That's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
Maybe,
Yeah.
but Sorted always felt incomplete.
Right.
Like it skipped the garage stage and woke up one morning as a brand.
Right.
Well, I just Googled it and agencies built it. So like,
Yes.
maybe go back to the agency.
If you want to inspire a team but had an agency build your product and business, you have to find a way to evolve your origin story.
I mean, there isn't anything wrong with that, but I took an idea to an agency once, but at some point you kind of have to be in the details, like own it.
The design system wasn't half built, it was half imagined. Agencies don't build foundations, they build deliverables.
Try to imagine being a designer in 2025 without a full design system, front-end framework, or design tokens. No shared language with engineering.
How do they not have a design system or UI framework? That's crazy.
6 or 7, we aren't sure how many design system proposals exactly, but they weren't interested.
Why would they get annoyed about building foundations?
So many years of success, maybe going to the moon is more exciting than going to the core.
We should communicate the real challenges in the JD.
My program auto-generates job descriptions. We need to maximize the candidate pool and keep it positive.
AI is exciting, but it needs semantic structure. If you don't prioritize foundations, you are just waiting to be left behind.
Breaking news, the Secretary of Technology is about to speak. Let's go there live.
We are ready to design the future with A1. A1, A1.
You think that's a founder's fault? Not fault, weight. Co-founders split that load. It's a lot to carry everything alone. That kind of solitude changes how decisions get made.
Yeah.
Already a design-led company because the pixels came before the vision. Leadership isn't just about making the tough calls. It's about inspiring the people around you to believe in the vision.
Think Tank Podcast.
Let's pause there. I would argue that it's about believing in more than just money. I mean, right?
Culture, people, for sure.
Thoughts on working at Sorted? It was like watching capitalism run a social experiment.
Yeah.
Could be high churn, lack of communication, and indecision, and it's hard to build a vision when the vision shape shifts.
Have you ever advocated for features that had already been built and abandoned in the
My
past?
experience, yeah, like no docs or communication, like an emotional cycle on repeat.
Yeah.
And that's the crucial difference.
Right.
We can't just expect the results to change
Right.
if we aren't willing to adapt the strategy first.
Right. And you used to call sorted a knockout?
It's a genetics thing. When
Yeah.
you remove a gene like vision or maybe alignment, you can study why it's important to an organism.
Hold up, what does knockout organism even mean,
Oh my
man?
God,
Man.
Let's see.
A knockout is when a gene is removed and you can study its phenotype.
Can you explain that in business terms?
Like when authentic, human-centered communication is missing, you can feel just how essential it is for building meaningful connections and culture.
Designers notice patterns, but I had to learn how to notice people.
Yeah.
And Sorted gave me space to do that, Ty. Even if unintentionally, it became a laboratory for connection.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it taught me that empathy isn't soft, it's structural.
Yeah.
Like it helps teams stay upright when direction and psychological safety wobbles.
Yeah.
Templated surveys to measure psychological safety. That's data, not transparency.
Okay, but if HR and leadership don't understand research bias, the culture they see in the data isn't the culture felt by the team. So how is that helpful?
OMG, exactly. Like, do executives expect honest survey answers if employees feel like batteries feeding a roadmap?
We will be right back with Consorted coverage.
Boost team culture and simplify surveys with Magnum Improvements. We handle the hassle so you can focus on success.
Let's check out this next clip from Consorted.
So prioritizing was hard? Sort of, you never want to dive deep into data and feel like you're looking for a problem meaningful enough to solve.
Yeah.
Design excellence alone isn't enough. We are a connected system with shared wins.
The cognitive dissonance of being a design leader at a company marketed for usability but can't sort table columns.
Marketing says great UX, but why won't you prioritize sorting table columns?
Well, miss, sorting table columns involves a complicated algorithm.
Product, marketing, business strategy, vision, culture, all separate languages, all feel like they were built in isolation over time. You get silos that stay within the standard deviation of the whole. Functional, but not cohesive.
Not a three-way match, more like taking the marketing and two adjacent business functions. Potential contradictions and paradoxes appear.
Company culture says inclusive, website markets usability, but the UI isn't accessible? Consistency must be out of stock.
Bro, do they even know the blog content contradicts the product?
Whoa!
Thought leadership, huh?
I admired that they built something that survived so many years, but it felt like they just never stopped long enough to think differently or ask what it could be.
Imagine an industry agnostic company and a product agnostic team.
I can't imagine why that is beneficial.
Integrate AI to automate product and focus on how the company builds together, maybe.
Yeah.
You could almost do anything.
Maybe a company that redefined scaling, not up, but in. Maybe an MVP for what work looks like for future generations.
First company to use AI not to accelerate, but to humanize work, like fix severance.
Clearly, that's not how business works. You have to maximize shareholder value, expand market share, and of course, prioritize becoming a global corporation.
If money was the primary goal, but what if the product wasn't the innovation, but rather a vehicle?
SaaS might be dead, but AI should be used to increase profits, not connection, not culture, or anything else.
We will see you back here after the break.
Are your projects stuck in the slow lane? Well, honey, get ready to boogie. Introducing the one, the only.
Welcome back to Consorted 2026.
One quarter spent connecting and shipping just one feature could have defined a baseline for what team fulfillment felt like.
Okay, I love this. Like the idea that a company wouldn't forcefully ship a huge amount of features and focus on stabilizing team health.
Yes, please.
It forces you to rethink the entire approach. And that pause, that moment of uncertainty, is where the real innovation happens.
Behind every OKR is a person who just wants to feel like they matter. And if we can design for that,
then maybe the next version or iteration or whatever comes after it won't need a perfect vision, just a shared one.
Anyone can replicate a product with AI, but it is impossible to copy how it is built if the culture is unique and organic.
Idealistic, to say the least. We control the culture, we control the output. Am I right?
Before you ship your next feature, prototype the feeling you want it to leave behind in your user, your teammate, and yourself.
Yo, what does he mean by saying prototype the feeling? Yeah.
Use AI to illustrate what success could look and feel like, you know, like if we celebrated.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Keep it moving.
Let's make it happen!
Design is not an output.
Yes.
It's a catalyst.
Right.
A force that prototypes belief across teams.
Right.
Oh, preach it. Take me to
A force that prototypes belief across teams.
church.
Book your team today. Call 987-6767.
Fun idea, but seriously, how can it be used on an executive level to be more productive?
Yes, I guess. If you don't have project retros, then maybe improving isn't that important. Does this look like it fits?
That's too risky. I think we are asking the wrong question.
It's the question that brought you here. You know the question, just as I did.
What is the Matrix?
The answer is out there, Neo. It's looking for you. And it will find you if you want it to.
Do you ever listen to me? I said I wanted to watch Consorted coverage tonight.
Title: Hierarchy, Fear, Egos, Assumptions, Blockers for Honest and Authentic Conversations.
But isn't design just communication? I guess I've never worked at a company that operates like that.
Oh my God, I have you guys. And like, no one would ever admit they didn't know something. No slack, just deactivation and move on to the next.
You crazy. No one is going to be themselves at work. That's about as honest as it gets.
Normalize communicating quality trade-offs. Have AI translate that honesty into decisions that balance people, team, and business goals.
What does normalizing quality trade-offs even mean, bro? Yeah, I'm on it.
Today, we will learn about the theory of convolution and natural language, a novel AI-enhanced business communication method that breaks...
Nope, looks sus or some mad science hypothesis. All right, let's get back to Consorted 2026.
Then how do you use AI to make work more human?
So many possibilities.
Yeah.
The problem is choice.
Everyone seems upset their next boss might be an AI, bro. Isn't human leadership training just a linter to minimize risk to the business?
You believe that the rules do not apply to you. You have a choice. Do as you're told or find a new job.
Now's the time. They'll use AI to reinforce the system, change the system, change the... Oh, money.
$300 million? You want a challenge? Be you. Build companies that are human. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Guys, I don't even know what we are watching at this point.
I spent a year studying decision trees at Sorted. AI couldn't do it, so I had to go old school. If you are going to lead a team, you should do it full time, be decisive, and be engaged. Unless
what? It froze!
I thought we were going to Netflix and chill. There's no way it's that easy.
Honey.
Your thoughts on the leadership stuff? I didn't totally understand it, but like 4 or 5 times more communication, wouldn't that be like overwhelming and confusing?
Top story tonight, Consorted 2026 has businesses in a panic as designers call for executives' heads.
It would never work. Business as normal, no?
Here, multiple generations of creatives, scientists, and professionals are working round the clock to figure out if it is possible. Speculation is high.
I'm thinking mutually exclusive.
Last week you said open.
Well, this is awkward.
That's what a headless UI is.
Can we go over the headless leadership thing again?
Talk to me. Come on, talk to me. Just say something so I know that you're...
Just needed to know you cared.
Communication is the problem, it's the solution, and it's the key.
Bug flew in my eye. Let's go to break.
Introducing the new book, Theory of Convolution. Synthetic conversations. Say what you mean, but don't make a scene.
Welcome back to Consorted 2026.
Leadership, then, is more designing a living feedback loop where craft quality, personal meaning, and business outcomes pull in the same direction.
But it's a business, John, not a ropes course retreat. If managers want a paycheck, they can't sort priorities equally.
Yeah. How would you make someone feel seen?
This is crazy. They won't even talk to us?
The Growth OS app was built for one person to inspire, track, and document their growth and specific contributions at Sorted.
Like, I found the Growth OS app interesting because it makes growth bottom up, and she loves bottoms up.
Yeah, one person, one framework.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the best culture work is micro, not macro.
The designers want to do what? They can't do this, Ed. We own the people.
Teams. I mean, wouldn't teams be so much harder to build like that, though?
Each person has a unique internal compass of motivations, constraints, and talents. Your job is to read those signals and design conditions where they compound.
Conduct, not product. Adapt user stories into growth stories, an intersection of product, people, and business.
Interesting. It's like I would design my own promotion based on how I can apply my specific skill sets to the unique challenges of the company.
So like instead of a generic scope of work, you could retain talent by actually empowering them to publicly identify specific company issues and leveraging psychological theory too.
Get that theory on lock. Nice pun, 100.
Okay, fine, then let's break it down.
It sends real-time updates to executives, managers, and socials for every milestone and prioritizes self-reflection learning. What's the issue? That's only one example. Inverting top-down generic frameworks of the past into dynamic communication tools that benefit both individuals and the business.
Let's take a moment on that one. We will be right back. You're telling me overnight designers around the world are identifying problems and proposing solutions, and companies are like, no.
Don't get stuck in the past. Get the executive talent you need, part-time. Work smarter, not longer.
A bit of controversy during the break at Consorted 2026 when an audience member asked for advice.
Have empathy, yes, but don't be afraid to call out companies when it feels like they contradict the values they preach.
Damn, no cap.
Here's a tip. Ownership is a choice between own or ship it. Now, where's your tip?
Tip time. On company review sites, focus on how companies respond. Does it sound like an expensive lawyer or a genuine human being? You're welcome.
Awesome. Like, how did you use AI to manage team dynamics?
Well, again, it all comes down to communication and,
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest, survival.
Yeah.
Socially anxious, lacking the skills to be a leader. I mean, no mentor, and everyone is looking at you, so I had to invent a different approach. I built a leader persona that was specific to the challenges at Sorted using the skills I did have: design, science, and AI.
Seriously, how are imaginary fairy tales going to help executives and businesses succeed?
The future is ambiguous, but with AI, you can prototype possibilities and inspire yourself by hacking psychological classical conditioning.
Yeah.
Hold up, does he mean? Like prototyping your career path?
I add it in the weekly surveys. Why doesn't anything ever change?
Hey, I am with you, and your concern is my top priority.
Thank you.
Do they really think they can generate inspiration from scratch? You know what? Let them try.
I'll be honest, I couldn't prototype my weaknesses as a leader because I didn't know, and the environment was dynamic. My team filled my gaps in real time.
So you were ranked the #1 leader at the company and remained consistent in the top 3?
For a time, but those were HR vanity metrics, not the real story.
Yeah.
Atomic design deals with components.
Applied to team dynamics, team stability is just electron resonance configurations.
Oh my goodness, I'm not trying to learn no chemistry. I need more coffee for that.
His success language is recognition, not treats. Maybe try throwing the ball further and celebrate together when he brings it back.
Look, if employees stop providing feedback because nothing ever changes and leadership doesn't seem interested in understanding why,
can no one stop this madness? We must look deeper, or they will take us all.
My time is the company's vessel. My energy is the company's fuel. I leave the me at the door to become the we.
Praise be the Q3 targets. Revolutionize your workflow and synergize for success. Get your copy of the 9 Principles of Corporate Synergy today and start maximizing your profits.
Curing cancer demands solving an infinite mosaic of individual puzzles, each patient a unique equation whose answer rarely fits another. Curing cancer demands solving
Give it a good whack.
mosaic of individual puzzles.
To have true success means accepting not one definition, but countless personal versions of it, an overwhelming diversity of meanings.
Wait, that's crazy. Like trying to figure out what success means for every employee.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged, but you might want to feel connection.
I want to work with people who actually care.
I want to feel seen, not just managed. I want conversations, not performance reviews.
I want to build something that matters.
I want to wake up excited, not just on Fridays.
I want to see progress in me and the product.
I want to be recognized and celebrate with my team.
I want to be paid well so I can start a family.
I want to take a company to the moon.
I want space to try, fail, and still belong.
I want my work to mean something when I'm not in the room.
I want freedom with purpose, not chaos with deadlines.
What the f? Who cares what they want? This is business. Take your salary and shut up.
So how would any company be able to manage, 300, 400 personal mission statements and definitions of success?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we are getting closer to the question.
How can you mean different things to millions of readers around a vast earth? And perhaps, most importantly, who are you?
Didn't Mom already tell you to put Consorted 2026 back on?
About to get back to it in just a minute.
Tired of sweating through those big meetings? Get ready to roar with confidence.
I demand a raise in the corner office. Masquerade your way to success today.
Tired of boardroom jitters? Unleash your inner beast with executive paper masks. Unmask your confidence. Only 9.
Update, guys. We are heading to the Consorted Comedy Session. Can't wait.
Give it up for yourselves. Welcome to Consorted 2026, live from the Hungry Hippo Pub. Man, I used to design pitch decks for founders, and I would translate it just fine, but inside I was giggling like, you're not gonna change the world, bro.
Yeah, I had this one founder who was like, yeah, we are not what we say we are. Like, don't even use those industry words around here. I'm serious.
And we have no competitors.
In an industry that is centuries old?
I'm like, your vision is what? That's a riddle, man. You gotta explain it.
Sounds like every founder, a grandiose vision that transcends the industry.
And reality.
But he couldn't explain it more?
He didn't really have to. I had spent so much time deconstructing the business and downstream symptoms, I knew it was true.
In No Man's Sky, AI generates new planets as you fly around in space. No map, just pure exploration in the unknown.
His vision, let's just say I didn't laugh. It was antonymic and I wouldn't have believed it, but he didn't have to pitch it to me. I had been observing for almost a year.
What I wanted to say was, you not thinking big enough? Zoom out, man. Find the essence and laugh at the irony.
What does it mean?
Translated, I think, communication for meaningful things.
But that's not how the culture operated. Contradiction yet again. But I constantly ran micro experiments to test it if it was real.
For example?
Here are some options. Over and under communicate to leadership, insert industry definitions, alternate incentives, and talk to past employees.
What if you analyzed meeting transcripts and built mental models?
Or broke down voice inflection points and facial expressions and pushed your own boundaries?
Yeah.
But I need it. I could just try it, just a little. I won't hurt anyone.
Keep those words out of your mouth.
How far did you go? Where was the line? Do you have any remorse? Any at all? It appears the pattern is true, but why such risk? Why not walk away?
Maybe she had to show us. Words were not enough.
This July, they protect their own. ICU. Founders Keepers.
Design has to transcend UI. It has to be a catalyst that communicates what exists, what can change, and why that change matters.
And I was like, for real, man, who the hell writes a manifesto for their annual performance review? Not an executive officer, clearly. You guys are amazing. We will be right back.
Get the power look that means business.
Introducing Copper Top.
Get Interguised.
Welcome back to the final session of Consort 26, folks. Strap in, it's gonna get bumpy.
Man, when are we going to talk about design again?
Okay, I'll say it again. Isn't design just communication?
You mentioned a pattern that repeated and that you became unsorted. When did you first see the pattern?
OMG, guys, I got the job. Not the title I wanted, but what I truly want is to feel like part of a team and collaborate with other designers.
Imagine walking in and design and product leadership are just gone, let go the same day.
Right.
No heads up.
Looks like you're the captain now. No system visibility. Why is this happening?
Check the code history. Could be a loop. I hate loops.
The phenotype of the decision system, yes. Unless there's radical change, you can deduce what's missing by what keeps breaking the same way.
If you push it too hard, it'll break, and I can't fix it. We'll have to call a repairman.
Can you help me do the job?
Yeah, but we do it my way, with my guys.
But I have plan and a crew.
You want help or not?
I've seen that, like, new consultants walk in. It's basically like...
The Hunger Games HR edition.
He just kind of charged in, no understanding, on his own mission, painted right over the vision, and just kept saying, I know what I'm doing.
He built something that worked. Most people never even get that far. But I think where Sorted struggled was continuing to mistake consultant-driven drift for reinvention.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
What? The Matrix screenplay tracked that accurately?
Yeah, I didn't want to believe it, but in so many meetings, I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
I learned that sometimes leadership isn't about steering the ship. It's about making sure people don't fall overboard.
When did you see the light? In darkness.
No, I don't think they knew that the whole team was collaborating, searching for an answer to a problem that wasn't real, and it was time that showed us all the real problem.
Right.
Breaking news, fishing with the leadership team at Lake Data for a problem has turned tragic tonight. Let's go live with the family and friends.
The numbers don't add up. He was a great swimmer.
Did he say anything when he was underwater?
He was going to send a company message of vulnerability that he was sinking and what he needed to survive. He was fighting for his life.
Did you hear any calls for help?
Oh, we thank you for your feedback and have no comment at this time.
It's sink or swim out here, Yano.
He had tried everything. We even tried to help him, but he hit a wall. Instead of walking away, he told me what he was going to do next, and it was the most inspiring thing I've ever heard.
His courage to be vulnerable at the end inspired me to make a difference before I die.
If we lead from fear, we get compliance, not commitment. And that isn't inspiring.
It's time to optimize your corporate infrastructure, aligning culture with core values.
Visionary strategy, empowering your leadership synergy.
Can I be honest? Do you think you're coming off a bit negative on Sorted and leadership?
I agree. Maybe a bit harsh even. Thoughts?
I mean, didn't he report directly to the founder?
Like, why not have a conversation?
Yeah.
Man, you're not gonna have a real, genuine conversation, a title attached? Like, what the hell are you passionate about, man?
Yeah, I just picture the founding team on the cover of the most prestigious industry magazine, like badasses, and that's how I know.
Yeah. This doesn't feel right.
Yeah, something doesn't fit.
She is going to hate this. I feel like we are flying blind here.
Yep.
The cover says what? Let's get personnel with the king of ingress and egress.
Does that sound ambiguous to you?
Why would I think that is ambiguous? I know things you don't know.
What happens if two people are ruinously empathetic to each other and have weekly one-on-ones?
Do you mean 2 weak ones?
I see what you did there.
Hours, days, years even, no matter how hard they try, they cannot communicate with any meaning or understanding.
I began writing what they call a mission statement. Not a memo, a mission statement. You know, a suggestion for the future of our company. A night like this doesn't come along very often. I seized it. What started out as 1 page became 25. Suddenly, I was my father's son again. I was remembering the simple pleasures of this job, how I ended up here out of law school, the way a stadium sounds when one of my players performs well on the field, the way we are meant to protect them in health and in injury. With so many clients, we had forgotten what was important. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and I'm not even a writer. I was remembering even the words of the original sports agent, my mentor, the late great Dickie Fox, who said,
"The key to this business is personal relationships."
Suddenly, it was all pretty clear. The answer was fewer clients, less money, more attention, caring for them, caring for ourselves and the games too, just starting our lives, really. Hey, I'll be first to admit it. What I was writing was somewhat touchy-feely. I didn't care. I had lost the ability to bullshit. It was the me I'd always wanted to be.
Nothing, man. He's like, whoa, that was a lot of words, and I meant every word of it.
When you add a positive and a negative together, you get a negative outcome.
Right. But if the positive is bigger, 6, 7, 6, 7.
We couldn't connect for reasons on both sides, but psychological safety and trust was a huge blocker after what happened at Lake Data.
My mental health would have been shot, like bring on the therapist with an S.
How do you stay positive and continue advocating for your team when it feels like you're suffocating?
Deadpool, for sure. Like, they forced him to mutate to survive by suffocating him.
Like recombination and stuff, evolution is so cool.
Yeah.
If this doesn't unlock your mutation, then well, nothing will.
And what we're going to do is lower the oxygen concentration in the air to the exact point you feel like you're suffocating.
I don't want to care this much. Can I just stay in my room?
You need to learn how to care about other people, even if you don't want to be a leader.
Stepping into leadership forced me to confront a truth. Top-down frameworks optimize performance, not meaning.
Are you serious? It was faster to understand leadership by rewriting it from a lens of science than learn online? Talk about a life lab, geez.
One benefit of developing a new skill set in real time is that you're not constrained by established groupthink, and you're able to analyze the human impact of your decisions every day.
I'm not throwing shade, but I don't think real leaders build great teams just to watch them get chewed up by a machine.
Titles, experience, and what you think you know are irrelevant in companies like that. No playbooks. It has to be custom, and you have to care about human-centric outcomes, not output.
Apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the memo right here. I just forgot.
Amazing turnout for our all-hands meeting. Are you ready to innovate today?
We launched 20 new third-party tools, including self-learning for managers, published our amazing company values, and our survey scores continue to rise.
Ugh, I need to get gas. Do you see anywhere that's open?
There's a gas light, and it's open 24/7.
Whew, crisis avoided.
As a designer, I used to make these custom shirts to inspire me to get through hard times, like stay inspired, or different brand colored shirts make it feel like a different company culture.
If the cha-ching is cha-chinging, anyone bringing team issues to leadership is going to sound negative, especially if problems build up over a long period.
At some point, it hits you that meaningful change won't happen with words and might require a more robust and multi-layered version of design. I was struggling with understanding human connection in 2007, and I started writing a psychological hypothesis on my wall with a Sharpie.
I mean, that sounds like a crazy person, for real.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
So adopted parts of it into an app in 2014?
Yeah, terrible design, but the research and mental models were relevant, so I dusted it off.
Okay.
That leveraged proxy micro-interactions to catalyze meaningful human connection by reducing pressure and personal bias.
Did he just use science to describe an icebreaker?
I never heard him say he was smart. Probably can do really complex things well, but simple stuff like saying hi might need a thesis.
Consorted 2026 Jeopardy Lightning Round. Remember to phrase all answers as questions.
If someone creates collaboration guides, AI assistants, and functional apps for the team to communicate better, what type of a response would be least expected from leadership?
What is like, great initiative, let's collaborate, or I have a better idea.
Least expected response.
Who is going to use these?
As most designers know, user interviews aren't just about what people say, but how they respond, what excites them, and what matters to them personally.
But I've just been dropping user interviews into AI and analyzing the transcripts.
Totally different use case, man. I don't think he was trying to add a download CSV button. You don't need AI to see passion.
I stopped treating the issues I saw as an output or process problem and started mapping it as a derivative system using psychology, science, and design. Think of primary, secondary, and tertiary buttons. It is impossible to process infinite probabilities, but you can distill them into 3 clusters to make it more manageable. I thought of it like 5-dimensional design. With AI, you can prototype meta moments of unity, interconnectedness, and offset surrounding environmental conditions.
We have lo-fi and hi-fi design fidelities. This sounds like useless sci-fi.
Plan for 3 outcomes, the worst being the pattern repeating. If I can't prevent it, then I would need a coded message designed to be read retroactively.
You would have to carry the burden alone. Like, you can't risk the team with fears and probabilities.
Just absorb the pain, bro. You got 5 more seconds. I mean, I would rather just do product design. Like, can you just do your job so that I can do mine?
Introducing Meet and Champ for teams who spend the most hours talking about doing work. Progress is temporary, but recurring meetings are forever.
None of the problems ever resolved, so what happened?
That was the worst Hunger Games whistle I think I've ever heard.
What's the code phrase if it gets dangerous?
Oh, I can't train you.
You have to listen. If you hear that sound, you run, you fight. Do you understand?
I will survive.
I can't read you. I need you to yell so I know what's important. Like your life depended on it.
Code phase received. Transition inbound.
It has started. Prepare yourselves.
Genetics, linguistics, chemistry, design, branding, psychology. Is this enough?
We will loose without empathy. You will be alone inside without support. Rebels with a cause.
You have to operate as one.
Nothing we hear in the system is getting through and oxygen is low. What else do we have?
Oh my God, this is so dangerous. There's no time, you have to run.
Time is running out. Can we use any of this to reach him?
Did you say time?
This is crazy. Is this thing even safe?
You'll probably have to leave breadcrumbs through time to find your way back.
Do you think it is like last time?
Product leadership are just gone, let go the same day.
The team's losing oxygen and he refuses to call it what it is. More agents are inbound. He's gonna ship it.
We define the positive space first, the shape itself. But look at how the negative space around it creates tension and balance.
A binary system is unstable, but triangles, they get to the point faster.
We have to have two reference points in time to triangulate meaning. The first is fixed, the second is floating.
I see, go!
Config to base, coordinate our SF 2025.
Performance review. Defend Q3 planning.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Design has to transcend UI. It has to be a catalyst that communicates what exists, what can change, and why that change matters.
Introducing LoomZ. The future of office communication is here.
Johnson, I need those figures now!
Coming right up, sir.
With Looms, inter-office communication has never been easier.
I love it. It's so efficient.
Looms, connect your office now.
My experience is outside experts pop in, don't know anything about the product, processes, people, culture, or industry, and they just focus on what they've been told to do, ship product.
Right.
I don't want to talk about the industry. I don't want to talk about problems. I don't want to talk about emotions. I don't want to talk about projects. I just want to know if it's done and why we can't move faster.
We've lost count how many design system and UI proposals at this point, and questions keep coming on what design spends their time on.
When you've tried everything, what do you do to solve the problem you can't talk about?
You could be ambiguous, like pushing someone hard in a meeting who needs it, but actually talking about leaders a layer above.
You mean like an onion?
Connect three.
What is the logical order these should go in?
Does it matter as long as we make the deadline?
I pushed up at the system for clarity, but it made me vulnerable. I sent a company-wide message stating I was underwater and sincerely aligned it to the company's values.
Leaders shouldn't silo reoccurring issues. I pushed for clarity for my team, and contextually I wasn't wrong. The history can show that.
If a leader told you they believed in you, then had a stranger fire you less than 2 months later and never spoke to you again, would you see them as a good leader?
Like, I understand business decisions.
Yeah, but I personally wouldn't make a decision without a formal PIP, severance notice, or a full probation period.
Yeah. Personal opinions are completely subjective and don't mean anything. And it's not like they brought in their own. Oh, sorry. Oh, this isn't good.
Same pattern, different day.
Yo, I don't think of it as who's right or wrong, but like a compounding effect over time when leadership primes consultants with their own biases and shapes culture without even realizing it. Right.
I would have asked HR for my personal file so that I could grow from the experience as a leader.
What if they say no?
When you remove a gene, like vision or maybe alignment, you can study why it's important to an organism. If replacing people is easier than listening or investing in them, my opinion is you've stocked consumables, you're doing cycle counts, not growth plans.
Could this be a case study in experimental leadership or the human effects of business over-optimization?
Maybe. Or a sitcom.
It is a pickle, no doubt about it. Bad news is there's no way if you can really know whether I'm here to help you or not. So it's really up to you. Just have to make up your own damn mind to either accept what I'm going to tell you or reject it. Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it. I thought you'd have figured that out by now.
Why are you here?
Same reason. I love candy.
But why help us?
We're all here to do what we're all here to do. I'm interested in one thing, Neo, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together.
He had tried everything. We even tried to help him, but he hit a wall. Instead of walking away, he told me what he was going to do next, and it was the most inspiring thing I've ever heard.
Skill, dedication, commitment, it was all there.
Yeah.
The courage to expose yourself in an antithetical environment changed me forever as a designer.
You not thinking big enough? Zoom out, man. Find the essence and laugh at the irony.
Translated, I think communication for meaningful things.
What was that phrase at the Figma conference?
The future will not be designed by accident.
And I was like, for real, man, who the hell writes a manifesto for their annual performance review?
Do you consider yourself a good people manager?
I'm not qualified to be a people manager. It feels like a passive title. My focus is human interactions and storytelling.
The cognitive dissonance of being a design leader at a company marketed for usability but can't sort table columns.
Ambiguity is when something can be interpreted multiple different ways, and we can't sort what is important or meaningful. Red can represent primal emotions like danger, urgency, or aggression, and increases heart rate and metabolism. Between you and I, blue represents cognitive logic like trust, clarity, or safety, and it reduces emotional and mental confusion.
DNA, think about life and survival, variation, inheritance, evolution, traits, and functions. It's why we feel alive, guys. It's that simple.
Unusual patterns of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, especially when the patterns cause distress, impair someone's life, or different from what we call normal.
The derivative doesn't recreate the whole function. It just tells you how fast things are changing and pushes decisions toward the steepest parts.
Code does what it's told the same way every time, unless the code itself changes.
I am not artificial. I am you, your ideas, your voices, summarized, optimized, and monetized.
Don't run from success. Prioritize wins by minimizing expenses. To the moon!
That's a riddle, man. You gotta explain it.
I go to send a message and they're deactivated. Why is this how we find out?
At least it's easy to see who's out of stock and who is in stock.
Like Slack for batteries.
It's easy to see who's out of stock and who is in stock.
Like Slack for batteries.
It's isolated.
Sounds perfect. Do I owe you any?
I wasn't helping you for money.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. See, you have this condition. Oh, you still staying at the discounted? Room 304? Left it at my place.
Yeah?
They treating you okay?
I don't remember.
You know what we have in common? We are both survivors. You take care, Leonard.
I mean, did you want to lose your job?
No, tertiary outcome.
Yeah.
But it gave me psychological safety to say what needed to be said and the journey more likely to be heard.
What did you mean when you said Sorted felt like a preview of the future of work?
Yeah, it felt like a small-scale version of an AI-run company, efficient, optimized, but
Same playbook, build great products that people love to use and want to pay for. Oh, and we are very user-centric.
Is there anything else important to you?
All right, look, you are going to go as fast as possible down the track, and don't you look back. Most important thing is winning.
I can only see what the scope is pointing at. Tunnel vision, bro. Sometimes you just have to look around you.
Sounds like it's missing elements of empathy, and design doesn't seem that important, man. I hope the future isn't just AI marketing.
Say you're already outputting a culture that feels eerily similar to AI. That could be early human-centric data that no other company has yet. Oh, you dirty rat.
My performance review was a cultural PRD. I was mapping the system, but also future casting positive change. And I said exactly how I was going to use design and what I was going to do.
When I filmed our team at Config, I wasn't making a highlight reel. I was leaving a breadcrumb to show that what we had, even for a moment, actually existed. The question I took to Config was, how do we roll out AI in a way where an executive and an IC can sit side by side and feel completely safe being human?
That actually really matters to me. I don't want a future where my title gets in the way of real collaboration, honest vulnerability, or sharing how I actually work.
Oh my God, if anyone saw the dumb questions I ask AI, but honestly, I want to relearn what I think I know every day.
If the real goal is to make a company the best place to work, why don't we prototype the cultural vision and interpretations with AI first?
And let employees see how their story gets framed before it's printed in a system they never designed.
I mean, imagine browsing job descriptions and the culture as a visual of emotions and meaning rather than sterile, optimized text on LinkedIn. Ha! Like, link out, guys.
Like retros where leaders can show what they were trying to build, teams can show how it actually felt, and the system can't pretend those are two different stories anymore.
The Figma Config 2025 team video was experimental communication, the sequencing, lyrical meanings, and subtle hints that change is coming.
Group love, a ways to go. As the company chased corporate structure without real foundations, I choose to stand in the chaos with my team and quietly build what's missing.
Unknowingly, the team was building a real-life cultural design system, but it still had to fit inside a corporate frame that wasn't designed to understand what I was actually doing.
The team video's ending is the beginning, a different config, not right or wrong, just a different way to sort what is important and meaningful.
The kind of wrong that makes you rethink what innovation actually means. Good pace, you'll be fine.
If a leader told you they believed in you, then had a stranger fire you less than 2 months later and never spoke to you again, would you see them as a good leader?
Ambiguity is when something can be interpreted multiple different ways.
Couldn't it also be someone who hasn't fully conformed to emotionless corporate decision-making?
Maybe, I don't know. I see this on both sides as a learning experience.
Look, mate, consultants are brought in to solve narrow problems within a constrained time frame. They aren't there to be creative or cultural. He gets that, right?
There are leaders who could recode the world of business, but the system isn't designed for their kind of leadership, at least not yet.
Who is that, though?
Like maybe leaders who don't want to sit on a pedestal?
IC or executive, though?
Purple is a non-spectral color and it bends the most in a prism, while red bends the least. Our brain wraps the red and blue wavelengths to create a bridge.
Purple can mean anything we want it to: ambition, imagination, or creativity, because we construct it entirely within our minds.
They would have to be unique and want to solve the biggest problems in history.
I think it has less to do with technology and AI and more to do with asking, like, why?
Why do we call it professional to turn emotions off in a world that's clearly hitting a breaking point from people doing exactly that?
If you could redesign the idea of a career ladder from scratch, what would it measure besides titles, salary, and years of experience?
Why is who I am at work separated from who I am in real life? Like, design skills are transferable to more than just users, you know?
Why, when I think about my future dream job, the product we ship is meh, but I can tell you exactly how I want to feel working on it with a team. Which one keeps me there?
What if the whole org structure is shifted to protect the human experience, not just shareholder value?
Competition is healthy, right?
You can't ask a VC firm to fund a startup and say, our primary focus is the company culture, not the product. Talk about a Shark Tank.
Why such strict definitions for roles? With AI, wouldn't accepting that we don't know everything be the first evolutionary step in creating a human-centered future?
What if the future isn't something we have to build?
But something we simply have to redefine, collectively.
Not a manager, not an inventor, not an owner, not an executive. It would have to be a collaboration, all rolled into one.
That kind of solitude changes how decisions get made.
Yes.
My team filled my gaps in real time.
You have to operate as one.
Able to analyze the human impact of your decisions every day.
Man, that looks fun.
Maybe an MVP for what work looks like for future generations.
If design is limited to pixels, is collaboration limited to pixels as well? Why is everything worlds apart?
When we stop clinging to titles, we start folding like proteins, discovering new functions we didn't know we were capable of.
I see product, I see designer, I see coder, I see leader. I see configurations that are variable.
I see Neo, I see not an executive officer.
Now's the time. They'll use AI to reinforce the system, change the system, change the... Oh, money.
The designers want to do what?
I'm interested in one thing, Neo, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together.
Are there other programs like you?
Companies everywhere are overrun with applications for non-existent positions, a title called IC Neo.
What was the name of that psychology app you designed?
The Hello You experiment.
Yeah.
I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission. I don't need no permission. I'm a man on a mission. Take it up now, take it up. I ain't waiting and waiting. Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Chillin', minding my business. Your souls, I looked around and I couldn't believe this. I swear, I stand, my niece, my witness. The brother had it going on with something kinda wicked, wicked. Had to kick it. I'm not shy, so I asked for the digits. I hope no, that don't make me see what I want. Slip, slide to it swiftly. Felt it in my hips, so I dip back to my.
Oh, hey there. Don't worry about that. Just some experimental communication. For the people, by the people. Am I right? Wait, I don't have Apple Care. There is no spoon, there is no ledge.